Hello all, this is Ramesh, Assistant Professor in the Department of Psychology. In today's class, we are going to see about different types of assessment and different techniques in assessment. Assessment tools are the means or instruments used by a psychologist to gather information about an individual's psychological functions. Individual refers to the method and procedure through which these tools are being applied. Human behavior is complex and cannot be understood using single method. Therefore, effective psychological assessment involves in the combine of multiple tools and techniques allows for more accurate and an holistic understanding about an individual. Psychological tests and tools. Psychological tests are scientifically developed and standardized instruments used to measure a specific psychological characteristics. These may include individual intelligence test, aptitude test, personality trait, academic achievement. Tests help us to convert psychological qualities into numerical values, making assessment more effective. Proper psychological training is required to administrate, score, and interpret these tests responsibly and effectively. Standardization in psychological tests. Standardization refers to administration and scoring tests under a uniform condition for all individuals. This ensures fairness and allows comparison of an individual's performance with normative groups. Standardization minimizes examiners' bias and situational difference. It is essential for maintaining the reliability and validity of a psychological test. Interview as an assessment technique. Interview involves direct verbal interaction between a psychologist and a client. Through interview, the assessor gathers information about the person's history, life experience, emotional concerns, subjective perspectives, and the things that he or she likes or dislikes. Interview provides flexible and allows the exploration of a sensitivity issues that a test alone may not require or capture. They are often used as a starting point of a psychological assessment. Types of interview. Interview can be classified into two based on structures. Structured interviews follows a set of questions. Semi-structured interviews allows guide flexibility and unstructured interviews resemble informal conversations. The choice of interview type is depends on the purpose of an assessment and the level of detail is required from the client. Observation technique. Observation involves systematically watching and recording a behavior in nature or in a controlled environment. Unlike test or a self-report, inventory or an observation provide a direct information and an actual behavior that the individual he or she may follow in his real life. This method is especially useful in assessing children's individual with communication difficulties and also in clinical cases. Observation helps to identify behavior patterns and the environmental influence often behavior. Like an example, a psychologist observing a child in a classroom may note attention span, peer interaction, and activity level to assess the behavioral difficulty that the child is going through. Rating scales. Rating scales are used to measure the degree or intensity of a specific behavior or a trait, while checklists indicate whether a certain behavior are present or an absent. These tools often completed by parents, teachers, or caregivers. They are particularly useful for tracking behavioral changes over time and evaluate the effectiveness of an interventions. Self-report measures. Self-report tools requires individuals to describe their own thoughts, feelings, attitudes, or symptoms of and conditions These methods are widely used in personality and mental health assessments. They are easy to administrate and suitable for a large group. However, their accuracy depends on the individual's honesty, insight, mindset, and awareness of the test. Projective test. It is one of the most used psychological assessment test. Projective techniques use an ambitious stimulus to encourage open-ended response. The basic assumption is that individual projects their unconscious thoughts, emotions, conflicts, and into an stimuli. These techniques provides rich quantitative informations and are used to explore deep emotional issues that the individual may going through in his life. Physiological measurement tools. Physiological measurement assess biological response associated with psychological states. Measures such as heart rate, brain activity, EEG test, and skin conductor tests are commonly used. These techniques are valuable in research on stress, emotion, neuropsychological functions. They require specialized equipments and technical expertise in the field. Integrations of tools and techniques. No single assessment method can fully explain a human behavior. It combines multiple tools and techniques to improve the accuracy, validity of a conclusion. Cross-checking information from different sources reduce the error or bias. Integrated assessment provides a balanced and comprehensive psychological profile supporting sound, professional, and decision making of an individuals. That's all for today's class. In this class, we get to know about different type of assessment techniques, tests, projective test, and physiological symptoms test. I hope you get to know about that. Thank you all.